Number 10. Bloodstone. This Joker doesn't mess around. At first glance, it doesn't look too wild, but once it kicks in, oh man, it snowballs fast. Here's what it does. Every time you play a flush, Bloodstone permanently adds +1 mult to that hand type. Now think about that. The more flushes you play, the harder Bloodstone starts hitting. It's like giving your deck a muscle building workout, and every workout counts. And what's the best part? It's permanent. You don't have to keep Bloodstone around for the bonus to stick. Stack up that mult, toss it when you're done. The power stays. To use this Joker the right way, build a flush deck. Keep it tight with suited low-value cards. Run wild with planet cards like Mercury or Venus to multiply those flushes even more. Pair it with other Jokers that reward flushes or boost mult, and just keep playing those hands over and over. But there is a downside. It's a slow starter. Early game, Bloodstone won't help you much, but if you can survive a few rounds and build around it, this card turns into a monster. 9. Rocket. Rocket is one of those Jokers that just feels good to play. Why? Because every time you discard a hand without playing it, Rocket charges up. And once it's fully loaded, it doubles the score of your next played hand. Instantly. No strings attached. Let's break that down. You discard, discard, discard. Rocket's meter fills up. When it hits 3 charges, your next hand, double score, just like that. It's basically a tactical nuke for your highest paying combo. Great when you're saving that perfect full house or flush with a big mult and want to make it count. Now to actually use it, you want to be deliberate. Don't just discard randomly. Set up a banger hand, then stack Rocket. This card rewards patience and precision, and if you're running over Jokers that boost on discards, like Oops All Sixes or Detonator, Rocket turns into a payoff machine. The only real downside of this Joker is timing. If you misplay and waste a double on a weak hand, it's gone. So be smart, wait for the big one, and then let Rocket carry you to a high score payday. 8. Yorick. Now Yorick isn't flashy. It's not doubling scores or printing chips, but it's super valuable. Yorick gives you a +2 mult for each card in your hand that's been previously discarded. Sounds simple, right? But this Joker quietly ramps like crazy. Here's how it works. Say you discard a hand with a 2, a 6, a jack, whatever. Next time you draw a hand and see those same cards again, Yorick adds +2 mult for each one. It rewards recycling, playing the long game, letting your deck breathe. You want to thin your deck so you see repeat cards more often. Cards like Hack, Blueprint, or Void help Yorick shine by keeping your draws tight and familiar. Keep your hand size manageable, 5 cards is perfect, and Yorick will constantly stack extra mult without you even noticing. But be warned, it's not instant power. Yorick takes a bit to warm up, and if your deck's bloated or constantly changing, it loses steam fast. Still, for consistency and scaling into late game, Yorick is a sneaky MVP. It doesn't ask for much, just your trash hands, again and again. 7. Hiker. Hiker is the kind of Joker that sneaks up on you. It doesn't do anything flashy up front. No big explosions, no instant payout. But every time you play a hand, Hiker adds +1 mult permanently. That's it. But don't underestimate it. This card never stops working. It's like carrying a step counter through your run. Every hand you play is one more step, and with each one, Hiker quietly powers you up. Play 20 hands? That's +20 mult. Keep it the whole game and you'll have a mountain of mult just from playing normally. Now to make the most of this card, play a lot of hands. Don't blow through rounds with one-shot full houses. Stretch it out. Find ways to extend your plays, maybe with Gluttonous or Fortune Teller, and let Hiker keep stacking. The longer you hold onto it, the more absurd your mult becomes. But like all cards, there's a downside to this one. It's a marathon card, not a sprinter. Early game, it's dead weight, but if you've got the health to coast and don't need immediate returns, Hiker turns into one of the most consistent mult engines in the game. 6. Supernova. Supernova is pure chaos, in the best way possible. Here's what it does. Every time you play a straight flush, Supernova adds +8 mult to every card in your hand. Not just once, every card. Each one gets its own +8. It's like dropping fireworks on your score. Bright, loud, and ridiculous. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. You have to hit straight flushes. Not straights, not flushes, straight flushes. That's a tough hand to pull off consistently unless your whole deck is built around it. So if you're running Supernova, you're committing. The best thing about this card is massive scaling. Even just 1 or 2 activations and your mult is through the roof. Pair Supernova with deck control tools, things like Spectral cards, Scrying, or even Planet Straight Flush to get more mileage. And if you can find a way to loop or duplicate those hands, Supernova will do the rest. However, there is an obvious downside, inconsistent without setup. If your deck's not tight and you're not hitting that perfect 5-card run in the same suit, Supernova won't do much. But if you are hitting it, you're not just playing Balatro anymore, you're nuking the scoreboard. Number 5. Smeared Joker. This Joker is low-key terrifying once you know how it works. The smeared Joker changes one simple rule, and that rule changes everything. It makes every heart card act as a face card. That means every heart becomes a jack, queen, or king without actually being one. Yeah, wild. Why does that matter? Well, face cards are where the magic happens. Jokers like Mime, the D6, or credit card all scale with face cards. Suddenly, you're not limited to 12 face cards, you're working with way more. And it gets crazier. Say you're playing something like the Soul or using red seal cards. Smeared explodes your synergy. If you want to run a full house with 3 twos and 2 hearts, it'll count as full of face cards. Pair it with heart-heavy decks, and your score will start to climb fast. Now, the downside. The smeared Joker doesn't give you points directly. It's a setup card, a power enabler. On its own, it does nothing unless you've got support. But if your build is leaning red or already loving face cards, smeared flips the game on its head. It's sneaky, it's weird, and it's one of the best tools for crazy synergy runs. 4. Baron. Baron is simple, but brutally effective. Here's what it does. You get +3 mult for every king in your hand. That's it. No countdown, no gimmick, no build-up. Just drop kings and Baron goes to work. So imagine you're playing a full house with 2 kings. That's +6 mult. 3 of a kind with all kings. That's +9 mult. Stack that with other mult boosting cards or jokers like Greedy Joker or Bull, and you're suddenly hitting massive scores off one play. The beauty of Baron is how consistently powerful it is. It gives you a clear deck building direction. Stuff in more kings, keep your deck thin, and hit hands that use them. You'll want to keep these boys around and let Baron rack it up turn after turn. What's the downside? Honestly, not much, but if you're not drawing kings, Baron does absolutely nothing. So if your deck gets too bloated or RNG doesn't love you, it can whiff hard. But if you can stay focused and hit those royal hands, Baron doesn't just help you win, it lets you dominate. 3. Throwback. Throwback is all about basics, and in Balatro, sometimes simple is best. Here's what it does. You gain +3 chips for each card in your hand that's part of a traditional poker hand, like a pair, 2 pair, 3 of a kind, full house, or 4 of a kind. So if you play a hand with 4 sevens, that's +12 chips, just from throwback alone. Got a full house? +15 chips. And that's not the best part. It triggers every time. No cooldown, no charge up, just straight bonus chips hand after hand. The key here is to play traditional hands often and consistently. Throwback works best in decks built for pairs and sets, especially one with wildcards or strong draw power. Add in chip scaling jokers like To the Moon or Hologram and your numbers start climbing fast. Now what's the trade-off? Well, it doesn't boost mult at all, so you'll need other cards to handle that side of things. Throwback's all about that chip grind. If you're not leaning into chip decks, it might feel underwhelming. But when you are, Throwback becomes a scoring machine, simple and surprisingly powerful. 2. DNA. DNA is wild, in both idea and execution. Here's what it does. When you discard a hand, DNA picks a random card from that hand and adds it to your deck. That's right, discard trash and you might just get more trash. Or you could duplicate your best card over and over. The real power of DNA kicks in when you start abusing it. Say you have a strong card like an enhanced ace, a wild, or a card with a seal. If you discard a hand that contains it, DNA might clone it. Next thing you know, you're building an army of busted cards with 0 cost. But here's the catch. It's random. DNA doesn't care what you want. It might duplicate a plain 2 of clubs 10 times before it gives you the wild. That means if your deck isn't super tight or well managed, it can spiral fast. The best play is to thin your deck, get a few powerful cards, and force DNA to keep cloning the good stuff. Throw in cards like Fold, Hack, or Blueprint, and now you're cooking. It's chaotic, unpredictable, and when it works, DNA doesn't just build your deck, it builds monsters. 1. Blueprint. Blueprint is perhaps the strongest joker in Balatro thanks to its extremely versatile effect. It copies the effect of another random joker you have. That's it. One line of text, but limitless potential. If you've got a Baron, now you've got 2. If you have a Hiker, that's double the scaling. If you have Bloodstone, now you're bleeding power. Blueprint doesn't care what joker it's copying, it just mirrors it perfectly, every single round. The real insanity is when you start stacking it. Pair Blueprint with cards like Telescope or Duct Tape, and you can direct what it copies. Suddenly, you're not playing with 5 jokers, you're playing with 10. If you got a deck with DNA, Supernova, or the Soul, add Blueprint, and it's like you're holding a cheat code. Any downsides? Not really. Only that it copies randomly, unless you build around it. If your deck is stuffed with weak or filler jokers, Blueprint might not hit what you want, but keep your joker board tight and it's guaranteed value. So is it the best joker in the game? Honestly, in the right setup, yeah. It doesn't just boost your run, it copies the best part of it.